Hello, everyone. You're doing a quick check on the sun. How is everybody?
Is an archetype. I encourage you to.
Apparently, the podcast I was watching is still on. Everybody doing well this evening? I hope so. So, as I'm checking the sun right now, had a couple M-class solar flares today, but I saw all those already. Nothing major. We're going to try to keep this as salt-free as humanly possible today. Move that back. I feel like it's right up in my face there. We're going to try to keep this as salt-free as humanly possible today. Of course, a lot of that will depend on all of you. I'm going to go ahead and guess that most of you watching this here saw the video a couple nights ago. China worried about the pole shift. They have indeed launched a satellite mission called Macau Science 1. Its goal is to study the changing magnetic field of Earth. It does have a specific focus on the South Atlantic anomaly, the weakest point and the fastest changing point in Earth's magnetic field. And it really does seem like, in addition to the fact that I would say over half of the papers on this subject that come out are either out of China or they're from Chinese scientists that are working in Western universities. The fact that they launched this science mission about 60 days ago really tells you a lot about where their heads are and what they are focused on. And of course, these are a lot of the things that the observers are focused on. You might recall China sent that moon lander mission not long ago, and it was very curious where they sent that moon lander mission, and some of the things they found in the science that they reported seemed to be right on point with the idea of a massive solar flash impact to the far side of the moon. And so we've got papers and evidence from all over talking about this. But in the last couple of years, I have to say, at least in terms of the public acknowledgement, even if it's not direct, even if it's an indirect acknowledgement through the apparent focus of their studies, China is focused on the sun and they are focused on the changing magnetic field of Earth. Hey, Paul, how's it going? I am still checking in to see if I will be able to make it out there for your event. I hope so. Still checking. Not entirely sure. So, what would you guys like to talk about in terms of that? I know I named the show Pole Shift and Solar Flash. As always, I think it's exceptionally helpful if we have discussions about those things. Of course, if you guys throw in a super chat there asking something else, I'm not going to ignore it. Hey, Mindy, how's it going? She says, would you like to comment on the congressional committee hearing today on UAEs in which military personnel actually said we have dead alien bodies? I don't trust these people at all. Let me say this. I believe in extraterrestrials. I believe they have been here and they are here now. I don't believe a word of what these people say. Not a single word of what these people say. Honestly, about the only thing you can really take is the fact that, okay, they're saying or they're hinting extraterrestrials exist. And for that part, yeah, okay, that's probably true. Did they capture something? No. Did they shoot something down? No. I don't buy a word of what these people say. I don't buy a word of it. I am by no means a human lie detector. I am not completely unfamiliar either with what they call signals of deception. Basically, what somebody looks like when they're lying. It's all over these people. I watched some of the hearings, and no, I don't find these people very credible in the least. Doesn't change my beliefs about extraterrestrials. I'm just saying. Ben, what's up, buddy? I lived in and studied in China. If they find what we all believe, do you think they will tell the world the truth given their need for control? Yeah, actually, I do think China. Well, put it this way. China has there's a better chance of China telling us than the United States government. They've been hiding the truth for 80 years. Technically, they've been hiding aspects of the truth for much longer, but they definitively knew everything I'm telling you now in the 1940s. So it's been about 80 years. So I don't think they're just going to all of a sudden start to tell us. So if somebody's going to tell us, it would most likely be the Chinese. Roland Mine. Why are people building bunkers on the West Coast? Because the people selling bunkers aren't exactly telling somebody who's willing to write them a check for a few $1 million, no, it's not a good idea to build one here. If they even know. Chances are they don't know the entire story. And if they do know the entire story, there's a very good chance they're just not telling. They're in this for the money. They're in this for the business. I would not be building a bunker on the West Coast. That's not my idea of inteligente. Why are they going full tilt with their insane plans and climate lies if it all ends soon with the solar flash, water inundations, etc.? I don't get it. Okay, two things. One, I said this isn't going to happen until the 2040s. I believe the late 2040s. That's a long way away. Still a lot of living, still a lot of preparation, still a lot of control and resource grabbing to be done. Not to mention the fact that they hate us. They want to squeeze everything they can out of us, not only so that they can do that resource grab and that land grab and that power and control grab, but so that we are in as worse a position as humanly possible. They don't want to come out of their mega ship or their bunker or whatever they're planning to use after this and find 7 or 8 billion people on the planet. They want to squeeze us as much as possible. That's the answer. And they're going to be doing everything they can to squeeze us. A secondary, although I guess I mentioned two things there, a tertiary aspect of it is they need to keep us distracted. So it's the fact that they are not done prepping. They want more, whether that's control, power, resources, whatever. Two, they want us in as worse a position as humanly possible. And three, part of that number two is keeping us as distracted as humanly possible, whether that's economic problems, UFOs, climate nonsense, cultural, political stuff going on. They need us distracted. I hope that you feel that that answers your question a little bit there. Dung is Fun says if government officials say something, they lie. I mean, I couldn't agree more. The only thing I agree with from the hearings today is that extraterrestrials exist. Okay, that's about where my believing their words stop. Somebody said they're watching closely to make sure I don't Mitch McConnell. Did anybody see what Mitch McConnell did today? Dude had a straight up glitch out in the middle of talking to the press. Like literally, like there's press all in front of him. And right in the middle of the sentence, he just... for like a minute. And then finally somebody comes up and taps him on the shoulder. And you can't hear what they say right away. But the mic was actually turned up enough that you could hear the second thing they said. They're like, sir, is there anything else you'd like to say to the media? And he just goes, no, and he walks off. I'm not joking. He was mid-sentence and it was unbelievable. Except he didn't blink. I know I blinked. He didn't blink. It was outrageous. I could not believe what I was watching. Whatever demon possesses that guy was like, yo, full stop, Mitch. Full stop, buddy. Just chill for a second. Oof. I saw somebody ask about the beard. Yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily growing it out. Does this count as growing it out? I don't know. I don't think this counts as really growing it out. This kind of counts as scruff. I'm doing my best to line it up, trim, make sure I don't look like a homeless person. You know. Politicians say ice caps are going to melt, oceans are going to rise, and they still buying beachfront property. We all know what's going on. Appreciate that comment. Couldn't agree more. One thing I will say, so I will save you guys your quarters if you're planning to ask this via super chat. If you're like, angels, fallen angels, demons, aliens, I don't know. I would only be guessing. My opinion or my guess on those things, it doesn't carry as much weight or as much value as if you ask me my opinion on something involving the sun, catastrophism, or climate change. Put it that way. I say something in that realm, pay attention. At least consider the words coming out of my mouth. But if you've got a question like, is it really aliens? Is it fallen angels? Is it demons? I don't know. I got my cross on. Benedictine crosses all through there. My 3 favorite scriptures on my fingers. But I don't know. Bob Roberts, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Grateful Preps, what's up? Hello from New Jersey. Can we just get, for 1 minute in the chat, either Denver Sucks or Free Top G? One of the two. Either one will do. There we go. Joe Schmo, yes, I'll be home Saturday, but so will everybody else. Welcome to stop by. Bruv. I'm loving this. Just seeing the chat just start flying with Denver Sucks, Free Top G, Denver Sucks, Free Top G. Thank you, Hope. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm going to thank someone if they say I look awesomely handsome. Ladies, and I realize that my audience is like 75% male. D, did you just ask who is Top G? Ugh. Ladies, I realize that by the time you are complimented for the 30th or 40th time in the day, you're like, whatever. When somebody compliments a man, he never forgets it. Ever. It just doesn't happen that often. I'll never forget a long time ago, somebody asked me right here on the live chat, Ben, what do you think is the best way to get a good guy? And what went through my head is, what in the world are you asking me that for? Do you have a question on space weather or atmospheric dynamics or paleomagnetism? I don't know how to answer that. I can tell you this. Find a guy who you think is slightly out of your league, genuinely compliment him. Genuinely compliment him. He will not forget it. Hi, Jessica. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Somebody says you're married, so most of us have to stifle. Well, maybe not. I know that Catherine receives an unfathomable amount of compliments through Facebook and when she goes out in the day and other things like that. So let's just be nice to everybody. No, Kat does not mind at all. Neither Kat nor I have even the slightest bit of insecurity whatsoever. Diane Hicks asks, are you a lawyer? I have a Juris Doctorate degree. I have spent 0 days of my life practicing law. I figured out going into my last year of law school after my second internship that I never wanted to be a lawyer. I just didn't quit law school with 1 year to go. Fair question. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's just a lawyer. He's just a lawyer. Well, it is one of my degrees. I have other degrees too. And to be perfectly honest, more important than the degrees are the fact that I have peer-reviewed papers in astrophysics and geophysics, co-authors that work for NASA or a statistics department at a major university. Those works have been cited by NASA scientists and other professors at major universities. And there are, I've lost count. It's a little over 100 universities that use one of my books in some form or fashion, which means a lot more than one of my degrees that I don't use from well over a decade ago. Red says you look great in the tank top the other day, brother. Gains are killer. Gains are killer. Steak, eggs. Oh, I'll say this, though. I was very upset today. It was a stand-in at the gym cafe. And I normally don't have to give any special instructions because the person who's usually there at that hour knows everything I'm going to say when it comes to making my super protein drink. I can tell the dude put creatine in there, and I don't like creatine. I don't think that him putting 1 scoop of creatine in my protein shake one day and then me not doing it anymore counts as me not being natty, but I'm upset about it. I don't like creatine. Hunter Biden's laptop. What do you think about the concept of a golden age coming after the great solar flash? Absolutely. You may have missed this, buddy, but I've actually said that a couple of times. There are indications in several of the books, and in the Zoroastrian text, it explicitly describes a golden age that happens right after this. Like if you survive the big thing, congratulations. The universe is going to take a little pity on you, throw you a celebration here on Earth. And I think that that's definitely a real thing. Definitely a real thing. Wouldn't doubt that at all. Sorry, apparently Joe Schmo didn't like my public answer, and so he felt like he needed to text me and get clarification on when he could come visit me this weekend. Does really all the metal melt in a micronova? I don't know, but it's very possible. It's possible half the metal won't melt. It's possible very little of the metal will melt. When the micronova happens, that's not the moment where I'm going to go grab everything metal I have and hug it tight. Put it that way. Fair enough? I hope so. That is not the first time somebody said I look like Michael Douglas. Digital Dental Tech just said you have some nice teeth. I'm given to guess from your username that you have some expertise in this area. What will I do during the micronova? Catalyze. I'm going to be at Observer Ranch. All right, since there's no super chats, I want to ask for a second. Does accidentally getting creatine, and by the way, no, this still has not healed. crushed my thumb, crushed it. And like, I either want it to heal or like the nail to come off and the healing process can begin. I don't want it to, I'm 1% from Denver over here. Tell us about your favorite scriptures. Spiritual prep is important during these times too. There are way too many. Way too many. Way too many favorite scriptures. I do like the ones that relate to the sun and the micronova. Revelation 16:8, and the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. Do like that one. But no, I couldn't possibly hope to run through them all. Julio Gomez, thank you for being here, my friend. Oh, what's another good one on the sun? I think it's Joel. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon is blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord to come. I think I screwed up a word or two in there, but you get the idea. Do you watch any other Truther channels, X22? No, I do not. I do not. Yeah, Joe Schmo could be dropping Bible verses in here all day about the sun. That's what happens when you grow up a Mennonite. Are demons real? Robert, how in the world would I know? I have a sneaking suspicion that yes, and that people do get possessed. YouTube admin says, not that you will admit to, that is. I'm guessing in regard to me saying I don't watch other. I don't have time to watch videos. It's hilarious. Somebody will send me an email, be like, hey, Ben, what do you think of this video? I click on the thing, and it's like 45 minutes long. I'm not watching that. I do not have time. I do not have time to watch other people's videos. Knob Hill, you're spamming. Goodbye. You should know better. Yeah, volcanoes erupt in Alaska all the time. Kyle, Ben, what are your thoughts on the ancient Egyptian kings being recorded as ruling for well over multiple lifetimes? Additionally, what do you think will happen to New England, Vermont during the big event? A lot of that stuff about extended life timelines in many different books, I can't say I fully understand. I have some ideas. They're not evidenced or well vetted, and I have no proof of any of them. I will say Vermont will be quite the challenge. Vermont will be quite the challenge for a number of different reasons. Hey, John Mallory, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Hunter Biden's laptop. Right on. Pizza and hot dogs. Is our gravitational balance off? Nope. If you're a guy or girl looking for a partner or a good job, physical appearance is very important. It shows you put hard work and won't quit. Yeah. All right. I gave some advice to men, or I gave some advice to women a minute ago. Men, get a haircut, trim your nails, brush your teeth. Ben again, possible micronova happens without the grid killing flare first, hoping for that warning shot to make moves. It's very possible. It's very possible that we'll just get lucky and the sun won't take out global power until the sun turns red, and then we're all like, oh, okay. I have mixed feelings about that, Ben, actually. It would be really nice to, as you said, hoping for that warning shot to make moves. But if you've got to make moves of any significant distance and the global grids are down, you can't really do that. And not to mention that when the solar kill shot takes out the power, that's like when part of the shiz hits the fan situation begins. And so then you got to survive that. And then you've got to deal with the micronova and the pole shift. It's like, well, do I want the warning shot to sort of clear out all this other nonsense on the TV and the global governments and CBDCs and all this other stuff? Yeah, okay, that would be really nice. It's also 2 disasters instead of 1. Schmo, quit making me laugh here, man. Muddy Creek with the first teal pair. 26 minutes into the show. It took 26 minutes to get a teal pair, and I don't think I've been salty yet. I've been animated, sure, but not salty. I seriously want to know. I Googled it. Hate having to Google. It says Andrew Tate is top G. Is that who you reference when you say top G? Yes. Haven't we had near-miss kill shots recently? There have been a couple that were potentially at grid damage levels. There's no way for me to guarantee you that any of those ones that missed were actually kill shot strength. But yeah, we've had some powerful ones just miss us recently. We had one miss us and nearly miss us back in 2017, another one in 2012. Denver sucks. Free top G. Chili's Jules, isn't a near miss a hit? I don't mean to be rude, but no, those are like one is definitively a miss. The other one is a hit. So no, a near miss is not a hit. Here's a good question. Would the kill shot accelerate the pole? I would have to say yes, considering the fact that Earth's magnetic field was just about darn stable until the Carrington event of 1859, which kickstarted the modern magnetic pole shift. I can't even begin to imagine that. I can't begin to imagine that it wouldn't be possible for it to happen again. Somebody said charges dropped 2 weeks ago. Nate, some of them were charged. I know he's still on house arrest. Everybody who's in the chat right now and who also has my cell phone thinks it's funny to be texting me right now. I'm not mad. It's just as if keeping up with this chat thing isn't hard enough. Ugh. All right. Where are we here? Did I skip one? No. Do you think AI is an inevitable cycle that the sun ends each time and people end up worshiping the sun? Maybe. It's not the most crazy idea I've ever heard. I don't know that for a fact, obviously. It's very possible. Polymathing. There has been not a single thing that has ever come out of his mouth that even goes to suggesting Freemasonry. Don't just say things. Gen G, crazy storm that knocked out power in eastern Utah today. Does China really think they can stop what is coming? No. Or strengthen the magnetic field? No. Hope I am asking that right. Oh, and looking good today. Thank you, Jen. But no, China's just monitoring it, seeing how it's going. They don't have any kind of misconception that they can stop what's happening. You can stop what's happening like an ant can stop a tsunami. But just because you can't stop it from happening doesn't mean it's not good to critically watch how it's progressing. Doesn't mean you can't prepare for it as best you can. Dude, rev your engine louder outside my window. Bruv. You know those people who have really loud cars? Like way too loud, like you ain't sneaking up on nobody, dude. And then like they're just in their driveway and they're just like, no. Let me do this like 5 or 6 more times. I'm going to do it again at 4 o'clock in the morning like I always do. And yes, I'm up doing the morning news. My children aren't. Were I a lesser man, I would egg this dude's car. Gen G, seriously, thank you so much for the compliment. Means the world. Greg says, Ben, please share your technique for liver prep. Okay. High heat. Drop after having melted butter, salt, garlic, onion powder. Wait a few minutes. Flip it over into the butter, salt, garlic, onion powder. Remove from heat. Put on plate. Fork, knife. Cut up. Eat. Do you think observers are a little less suspicious these days? What's the next stage of awareness after suspicion? It depends. For some, it's apathy. For some, it's proactiveness. For some, it's delusional psychopathologies. It really just depends. This stuff affects everybody differently. Fair question, though, Joe. And it's good to see you. Thunder on that one could be loud. Thunderstorms outside. Somebody just said stealth is better. And I couldn't agree more. It's like, and like, I have said this to people when they'll like pull up in like a car that's ridiculously loud and they get out of the car like, did you hear that car? Did you hear that when I pulled up? And I'm just like, dude, you ain't sneaking up on nobody. And they're like, oh. Shrink. Does that count as salt? I don't know. In my location, Princeton, British Columbia, the sun has been getting lower in the sky. Is this the pole moving? Would love to hear your opinion. If it's been getting lower in the sky since like June 21st, no, that would be the change of the seasons. People all over the world are tracking the sun and where it is in the sky over time. There's not a ton going on in terms of geophysical movement. Right now, it's mostly the magnetic poles. As I've said a number of times, I really, really do believe that it's going to take something like the micronova to unlock the crust before we actually see the Earth begin to tilt over. Stephen, thank you for the teal pair, by the way. Stephen W., appreciate that. Love the teal pair. By the way, Tasha, if you're like Western British Columbia, but not like too close to the coast, British Columbia, probably not in a terrible spot. Might want to consider staying there. Jay Sat says, Bible mentions the waters under the earth. You mean the waters below? Yes, they certainly do, and they will come forth. Please comment on deep underground water and effects of micronova. Oh, I guess I just did. The waters below will come forth. So, like, I like going to hot springs as much as the next guy. There's one a couple hours away here called Pagosa Springs. It is one of my favorite places in the world. I ain't going to be anywhere near that place when the sun turns red. Nowhere. And the thunder rolls. Patty Simmons, thank you for the teal pair. And I'm feeling good. This live broadcast was brought to you by Cryptech. That is a hilarious inside joke between me and Joe Schmo. And yes, let's just go ahead and say this live broadcast was brought to you by Cryptech for $0 to Cryptech. Cryptech, you're welcome, and you're welcome to send me a jacket if you'd like. Michael Lee Rossman, Southern California Edison has been turning power off every day since last week and blaming the heat. It might kind of be the heat. A lot of ACs running, a lot of electric cars plugged in at night. This is something Rocky from the Big Burb could talk about all day, how our grids are not set up for us to go electric in terms of vehicles. They're not set up for the slightly increasing population and the use of air conditioning. They're certainly not set up for everyone to be driving around their electric vehicles all day and then plugging them in the evening time. If you guys need like 25 minutes to kill, go ask Rocky about that. And he's not wrong either. Those are the growlers gnashing their teeth. It's the lizard people we live in that 80s movies they live. Ha. Well, better that than the rumblings coming from underground and us being in the Tremors movies. Because I don't see that dude with the big mustache anywhere in the elephant gun. And his straight-based wife either. Come visit Montana. I don't go visit places. If I'm going somewhere, there better be a darn good reason. So that steel tube bunker is going to be self-contained over during a micronova. Great last name, by the way. First of all, who do you know that's building a steel tube bunker? And whoever you do know who's doing that, tell them to stop. Tell them to use something that is not exceptionally conductive. And yes, Jerry Lee Davidson, I think your last name is fantastic. I found a Ben Davidson on Twitter the other day and told him his name was awesome and that my name was Ben Davidson. Dude said nothing. Dude has 6 followers. Ugh. Kim, thank you for the teal pair. Absolutely love it. Love and Loyalty says some planets have already changed. If you've seen my video, you know we have evidence that they have all changed except for Mercury, and we won't learn that until Bepi Colombo enters its orbit. The sun has changed, and interplanetary space has changed as well. The evidence is all there. Bert and Reba, yes, yes. I almost felt sorry for that tremor. I know, right? I forgot that was Reba, actually. Thanks for the assist, Fire Dog. I appreciate that. Chris, what's lame? What's lame, bruv? Don't just type lame. What's lame? All-powerful genius, don us with thy opinion, por favor. What must I do to receive your 2 cents? All the talk about grand solar minimum has faded. Any news on that? Interesting that now it's faded when 5 years ago when I was like, hey guys, here's the data. This is how we predict solar cycles. And I know that everybody, including myself, was thinking, hey, let's be carefully monitoring for a grand solar minimum coming up. Now it's 2018. Now we have the data and there will not be a grand solar minimum. How many people were calling me a jerk? How many people were like, you don't know anything. Zarkova knows everything. Zarkova knows everything. Guess not. I've been saying this for quite a while. And I will be able to tell you some point between 2026 and 2028 whether or not the next cycle will be a grand solar minimum. And nobody can say a word definitively before that, because there is nothing even close to that is as good as using the solar polar magnetic field strength during the beginning of the decline of the solar cycle. And when that happens, I will look at it and I will be able to tell you, just like I did in 2018, whether or not we're going to be having a grand solar minimum in the next sunspot cycle. Appreciate the comment, lady. Immortal Fantasy. Have you thought how to protect your animals when the sun turns red? Stone, stucco, barn houses, maybe. Some of them are going to be coming in our underground area. Believe it or not, a lot of animals are going to be okay in this. They can handle much greater temperature swings than we can. They know to get under a tree or get near, get somewhere safe when a major storm is coming. That animals have some senses we don't have. If you can take them underground or in something very strong, that's helpful. Craftiam says, after the shell explodes around the sun, approximately how long until the debris arrives and for how long until it has settled? Well, it depends on what you call the debris. The high energy protons get here in a couple minutes. It'll be a couple hours before the main plasma arrives. With that will be the beginning of the glass spherules. Over the next couple hours, they will get bigger and bigger, but less of them, up till we get the actual congealed impactors. I would say a day and a half to 3 days, maybe. Hi, Ben. Can you give a quick snapshot of what will be happening to the other planets during the micronova, please? Exactly the same as Earth. A lot of that would be guesswork. There's evidence that Mars had a crustal shift in the past. I don't know if anybody remembers that video. That there's these volcanoes on Mars. There are like 3 of them perfectly in a line. In the exact same geometry, there's a triple magnetic anomaly that not only has those 3, but the volcanoes that are just like that with the 3, there's a big one just off to the side of it. There's a magnetic anomaly of 3 with 1 off to the side of it. It's just not under the volcanoes. It's somewhere else, which tells you the crust actually shifted somewhere. Will all the planets tip over? I don't know. Something tells me it happened to Uranus once. Definitely in terms of Thor, interrupt me again and see what happens. I don't know. It's possible they're going to see a lot of the same types of issues as Earth. Certainly the atmospheric things we've been talking about. Definitely increase in lightning. Dr. T. Zeus. Did I just yell at your kid? Thank you for the teal pair, my friend. Appreciate that. DB, the increase in a-holes due to the pole shift. That's part of the reason. It's also because the world is becoming more of like a, hey, bear, I'm poking you with a stick. Hey, bear. Economically, politically, culturally, everything is designed to test you. Did any of you ever see the movie Infamy? I can't believe that this thing wasn't like a huge movie. It was fantastic. There is this substance on this alien world, and when it came in contact with you, it basically made you go nuts, makes you go crazy, aggressive, basically a killer. The only people who are immune are those with advanced emotional instability, which in this case was like one of dozens. But yeah, the pole shift isn't helping, especially with its impact to the hippocampus and the locus coeruleus. Definitely not helping. Boom, hail, Thor. This is my boomstick. Who knows what movie that is? Thank you. I have an original Earth ship. Nice. Wondering how to protect Windows. A lot of options, from coverings to changing the windows themselves. Get creative, my friend. Not subscribing to suspicious observers is lame. Ha, thanks for the top shelf content, sir. Right on, Chris. Somebody said that there's more a-holes because men's jock straps are too tight. Or maybe it's because they're made of polyester and they are hormonally affected. Wow. A bunch of you knew where what movie that was. I'm impressed. Bruce Campbell for the win. The name of the movie is Army of Darkness. UFO coming out of sun solar portals. Ocean current patterns halting or altering. Did you check out the morning news today, Joe? Joe Nelson? Talk about it in the morning show. It's a good one. It'll probably be a subject of a special video either tomorrow or the next day. Maxer Mortis, thank you for the teal pair. Love it. Puppy decided to come see what's going on in the live stream. Oh, goody. Comment about Rand Carlson. Here we go. Ben, last week Randall Carlson said on his show, perhaps we should start listening to Ben Davidson. You are changing minds. Lovely. He's got my phone number. Randall Carlson has my respect because he's done as much as anybody else to dispel the idea that these changes on Earth take hundreds of thousands of years. No. It can happen like that. And they will. What's with all the whales dying in Australia? Movement of the South Magnetic Pole. Easy. Denver is the ultimate suck. You are not incorrect. One more time, Denver sucks for free top G in the chat. Had a dream about the whales. Have you ever been contacted by Marfugal? I don't know what that is. How much of Electric Universe is legit? SD meetup was great. Muck deposits guy. Oh, right on, Shane. I'd say Electric Universe as a concept. If you are saying it's just another name for plasma universe or plasma cosmology, most of what's out there is right. If you're talking specifically about the catastrophism story put out by the Thunderbolts, I'll just say this, because I don't want to spend too much time dissing anybody. Thunderbolts and I had a falling out for what I consider to be a very good reason. That reason was not one of my previously expressed gripes about the science. If the polar configuration is a polar configuration, only half the Earth can see it, but it's drawn all over the world. So whatever it was had to be visible from all over the world. Ergo, not a polar configuration. My God, do we have another Davidson here? Any insights on the New Madrid fault? I mean, how likely is it to do major quakes like it did in the 1800s? And did you do your recommendations about safe places to live with regards to this fault? Yes, I did, which is why I tell people do not go to anywhere near New Madrid. Do not go to the Ozarks. the New Madrid Fault could literally crack the center of the country in half. And when that happens and the water from the Gulf of Mexico comes rushing in, either from that or from the Earth tilting the way it's going to tilt, isostatic readjustment, the sea bottom at the Gulf of Mexico will rise up and the center of the United States will fall. Oh, and if it doesn't, trying to survive in the Ozarks with a billion other people isn't going to be too easy. You're more likely to end up on someone's plate. And yes, I think New Madrid is going to rock and roll during this event. I wouldn't be anywhere near it. Hi, Ben, working hard or hardly working? You know the answer to that. The only time I stop working is when I'm at the gym or I'm watching my kids. And if you know, you know, neither one of those is really not working. Windy, Wyoming, thank you for the teal pair. Greatly appreciated. If a solar flare was happening, if we turn everything off the technology, will it safe? Is it too late? It depends. If the solar storm is like just powerful enough to knock out some things, maybe on a global scale, but on regional scales here and there, yeah, turning it off might work. In the global kill shot, no, it's not going to matter. It's nice that the chat slowed down for a second, gave me a moment to catch my breath here. Peg, no, a regular old lightning rod will not be enough. It's not lightning coming, it's not energy coming down. It's not a direct line of sight. It's induced directly into the ground. It's induced directly into the mantle. It's induced directly all the way to the core. It's not about line of sight. There's no hiding from this. Denver still sucks. Yes. Please say more about the solar flash. Lady Sarcastro, look below the video in the description box and click on Earth Disaster Video. Hello, Ben. Could I survive the big Earth-directed CME since I have remitted relapsing MS and I have felt the smaller ones and Denver sucks? Yeah, do everything you can to strengthen your body energy field. If you're asking a question like that, you've probably been around enough to hear me talk about how to strengthen your body's energy field. Have you looked into diets that are especially good for MS? What you can do? Leave nothing on the table. Patricia says, hi, I'm new here. Do you have a map of the safe places to live, or can you tell me some regions right now, kind sir? I couldn't possibly go over all of them. In the United States, by far the best is what I've been calling the New Valley of the Sun, which is the eastern range of the Rockies from about Palmer Ridge in Colorado, which is, I can see it from here, looking out my window. I'm looking at Palmer Ridge right now, all the way down into Mexico. Unfortunately, the further south you get, the more problems come with it. If you get to where that eastern edge of the Rockies cuts through the New Mexico-Texas border in an area where they call the Sierra Diablo Mountains, that's where Jeff Bezos' bug-out facility is. Outside of here, Mongolia is probably going to be okay. There will be places in the Rockies that are okay as well, and that includes places in Canada. The further you are in the Rockies, however, the more you need to be certain that you could handle 10 years with no power and slightly worse winters than are currently existing in that location. Is Southeast Michigan safe? No. Up near Sarnia, Ontario. I feel like it's moving under me. Thanks for your time and knowledge. I don't think that's a great region. It's not the worst. You're not sitting on the coastline in Washington, D.C., just near D.C. But no, Southeast Michigan is not fantastic. And yes, the Great Lakes will slosh too. Oh. Community organizer says, Ben, do you actively engage in earthing, aka grounding? I walk around outside without shoes all the time. You guys are lucky I have a shirt on right now. I usually wear as few articles of clothing as humanly possible. Somebody said my shirt looks dirty. I don't know what to tell you. Can you guys see dirt on my shirt? I don't think you can. One, it's clean. Two, my camera sucks. So no, I don't think you can see dirt on my shirt. Bruv. We have gone about an hour, and I don't think I've really busted out the salt yet. I know I haven't said any curse words, swear words, or anything like that. I haven't ripped on any observers, which is very unusual. Somebody's asking about the consulting calls. I don't do those anymore. I'm full speed ahead on the ranch right now. Maybe at some point in the future, but to be honest, it was fun for a little bit and I enjoyed it. But helping out one person at a time is not the best use of the time. Catalyze 7, that's very funny. And it might have, you never know. Why don't you like Northern Colorado? We were in Golden this weekend. Beautiful. I didn't say it wasn't beautiful. It is beautiful. There are parts of Northern Colorado that are probably okay. Nothing near Denver. I do know that the eastern range of the Rockies is slightly better than anywhere in the Rockies or on the other side of the Rockies. I do not have time to go into all of the fine detail of that right now. But do you tell your children about the potential future? 1, no, they are 8, 6, and 3. 2, I am preparing them in other ways, getting them outside as much as possible, teaching them how to do this, do that. 3, my oldest, Kira, she has dreams of a black sun. So it seems like something else is trying to prepare her anyway. And when they get a little older, yes, I will do what I can. Marshall says, what would our trade route look like from northwest Colorado to northeast Colorado since Denver's going to suck? Sweaty. I-70 gone. Coal is abundant. I don't know if trade routes like that are really going to exist right off the bat, to be honest with you. Like, that would, to me, seem like a real challenge. I don't know, though. What's that? Mark, what's up, buddy? Mark, just with a helpful comment, kind comment. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Everyone, positive vibes from Mark. Thank you for the support, my friend. How old are you? You look 23. Oh, you. I mean, I know I don't, but I did get my epigenetics tested. I may be 8. I tested 28. Which is funny because when I was 28, I probably would have tested at 38. That was before I got my ish together. I sense that you may be a bit under the weather. No, Carol, no. Love and blessings to Kat and the kids, California Carol. Thank you very much, Carol, and I can assure you, I'm good. I'm good. Liz Sapp, mwah, how you doing? Have you heard of the Shiprock Formation in New Mexico? Yes, I certainly have. I'm convinced it was built by an ancient civilization. Wouldn't doubt it for a moment. Your thoughts? Stay safe. I've heard of it. I've seen pictures. I have not studied it. Would not be shocked if it was from an ancient civilization. There's so many cool things in New Mexico, for real. Anyway, it's nice just to see you, Liz. You've convinced me to look into Shiprock, put it that way. Ralph, what's up? Ralph, how's it going? Hope you and your family are doing good. We are doing very well. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. Does anybody have any last questions? We're going to chop it. Chop it. So is it unsafe to say sheltering any place granite? I don't know if it's guaranteed unsafe. There are some advantages and disadvantages to granite. That's for sure. Not a bad question, though. I would pay less attention to the rock geology of the place and more to things like the latitude, the current weather, fault lines, nearby volcanoes, things like that. Do you have an older brother? No, I do have a younger sister, though. Sleepwalker. Jabbed, slightly woke, lives on the side of the country. HS, I caught that. That was nice. Thank you very much. Emily Moore just says, Ben, please. Please what, Emily? You're going to build a second burr. So Rocky's already building the next one. Somebody paid him to help them build their own burr. If you've got the funds and you want one, and know for a fact you can't do it yourself, I might try to get in touch with Rocky. Something tells me there'll be a time when he's too busy to take on new projects, to put it lightly. Rude on Food, thanks for the continued info. Thank you for being here, buddy. And I think that your name is cool. Anyway. All right, guys. Don, Chris, don't ask about Yellowstone. It's broken. I've talked about it over 100 times. It's just not a risk. I say just happen about every 12,000 years, with bigger ones about every 100,000 years. Oh, now you're all going to ask questions. Once I'm like, all right, guys, that'll be about all for today. Everyone's like, oh, I got time to ask a question. Denver sucks. Free Top G. I will see you in the morning for the daily show. Be safe, everyone.